Hello, hello, my fellow gaming tankers. I'm Momentary Genius, who likes to refer to himself in the third person because he just loves the sound of his voice so much. Finally, I'm making a video at almost the last hour because we are hours away from this week's update. An update that, as Friday's bombshell reveals, will be the beginning of what will probably amount to, I'll give them some wiggle room here, of possibly a year's worth of major game changes. I think this announcement is more of a strategy of slow but poignant changes as opposed to one major change, or updates, should say. Now, something I want to highlight here, right off the bat, is there are 3 points: quality of battles, tank balance, and gameplay balance. Those are the 3 key things they are Wargaming Chicago want to focus about on World of Tanks console. Quality of battles. We want to increase average match times to encourage strategic gameplay and find additional ways to reduce frustration and add more fun. We want to increase average match time. Now, in case you accidentally got duped into this and thinking this is World Tanks PC or World Tanks, hold on a minute. And just in the comments below, does this go along with any changes or updates that PC and Blitz are trying to do? Because the last I knew, and for years, what we've been hearing from the developers out of Chicago for World of Tanks Modern Armor is shorter, faster matches. Pretty much that's been the main thing that Wargaming's been striving for since at least 6.0 in the past couple years, even with PC. I know that much. So now, in both World War II mode and Cold War mode, they're looking to increase match times. And they're kind of serious about that, especially when it comes to Cold War. This is going to be Cold War centric in case you're new to the channel. Hi, please subscribe. Because this, especially Era 3, it's finally happening. In fact, it's happening in just hours. To help expand the time, I'm gonna be okay. Okay, it's just like the ATGM changes when they actually put in the arming distance. It's something I don't necessarily want personally. I've grown to find the whole having almost go-kart like MBTs that can do, doesn't matter the terrain, they can still reach their top speeds. That fun is sort of like that chaotic fun is just somewhat frustrating, but damn it, it's different from everything else, and it's like, oh my god, you get to feel these machines unleashed. But terrain handling for Cold War mode is going to be addressed. Specifically, MBTs, some of the heavier, more traditional heavy tanks, and the heavier tank destroyers. The 2 obvious ones there are the Velka and the Molot, which is Era 3. And then Era 2 MBTs, although they're still more considered heavies-ish, there's not so much crazy speeds because a lot of them can barely get to 65 kilometers. Some of them do get 70, even though a few of those will be addressed. It's Era 3, the MBTs, where in this video I picked some of the fastest ones I have. The Leopard 2 here. All these are capable of doing 75 kilometers an hour or higher. Actually, I was surprised when the MBT 80 actually can do like 80 kilometers per hour. Granted, some of them do have acceleration issues, but again, the cries have been heard. Patience is being sort of rewarded, and boy, everyone better get patient fast, because this is a long-term game test. I mean, update and experimentation for this game. Again, for the next 5 seasons, they're going to be doing this. So if a season, simple math, 2 months to a season, that's 10 months. Christmas time, though, they tend to run a little longer. And so, yeah, possibly 12 to 14 months this whole update and experimentation / testing is going to be going on. I'll get to more why Christmas is important then. I can't. They're going to be addressing tank balances. Some tanks for tech trees might need some help, or they might need to be nerfed. Mostly help because they admitted it, sort of, that some premiums, I do believe the word toxic was used. They didn't say broken, they said toxic, and or overused. Okay. For some of the newbies, and I know if you've been watching all the other videos and heard that very skeptic tone, although it's hard to tell when the British are being sarcastic or skeptic because they have no way of truly putting inflection in their voices. What that concerns us because they've done it before. The T249 and the Vice so it's like, oh, we have nerfed them by ever so slightly slowing down or impairing things. Like, okay, oh, you've increased the reload by 0.02 seconds. Great. However, they could go through extreme. And who remembers the armadillo? When's the last time you've seen an armadillo? For Era 2, part of the G.I. Joe. For anyone who may not have seen it or is new and has seen it, doesn't know what I'm talking about, because that was an obnoxious light tank. A 4-barreled light tank that had the concealment of a gnat, slung HE like it was nobody's business, and was an utter pain. It was hellacious. It dominated the matchmaker for those who paid to play it. And then, out of the blue, the joke was paying this because it happened just after the Christmas break. The joke was Pain God actually played the game live and got the living crap beaten out of him. He played his own personal account and got wrecked by armadillos and because they came back and was like, we're looking up an armadillo. We're going to. It is not where we want it to be. It is too powerful, and then it got nerfed to damn near oblivion. So we could have, and this is, I love what they're saying, but we know that they could be like, so the terrain, the concealment has been reduced, i.e. it's easier to detect. We've increased its detection range by 10 meters. Okay. Sure. Actually, I think we'd appreciate that. You get what I mean. But a lot of tank balancing. A lot of tank balancing. 120 plus tanks in World War II mode, I think. Maybe. A lot might be correct, but World War II mode is... Obviously, I think the main balancing factor when it comes to Cold War is the terrain resistance. Yes! Back to that. Mud will slow you down like mud should. Like, yes, try it. Being loose sand will slow you down with loose sand. Wet grass will slip or slow you down. So, you know, because we've been playing this game for so long, and now that we have real world combat, and we have definitely learned that when that Russian winter, or the winter in, I don't know if I can say this because of YouTube, in that region in Europe, near Poland, where those two combating nations wait till winter to fully implement their tanks. Yeah, they wait till the ground's really hard so they can actually move their tanks with them sinking in. Although I'm really glad they're not going to be go too real to where, you know, the T-72s and other tanks like that only get the 5 km/h reverse speed. I will gladly buff the reverse speed of the T-72 to 35 km/h. It's okay at 25, I think it is, but this is a video game out there. Why do we need realism? Do we? Look at that. 8 km/h. The P cells, man. I'm gonna miss that kind of speed. It's okay. It's okay. But oh. Some maps are going away too, because they just don't work. So I think Siegfried Line is still there, Fisherman's Bay is still kind of there for other. But we are getting Pearl River. tomorrow. Or, yeah, technically, it's still midnight where it's not midnight yet, so it's happening. Although the future player performative matchmaking, that little test might be interesting. How's everybody's win 8? All right. You don't want to be playing with the best bot snipers. You might want to trash that win 8. Or if you want to be a son of a bitch steel clubber, go for that. Obviously, map and base capture rules. I think they'll be playing around with how much of those type of matches you can get. Personally, I think in your standard battle, if you contest the base, if like you're physically smashing into the tanks capturing your base, it should immediately pause counter. Maybe it does, and I've never noticed it, but I've played that in certain, like, I'm physically defending my base in the base. The counter's still going Y, and also little indicators over which tanks are actually getting the capture points, so those are the ones you're supposed to shoot. Okay, you can't just spray and pray. 3 tanks, if there's 3 in there, out of 6, if there's a bunch, 3 of them will be the ones actually capturing the base. Okay? Make that in a little indicator showing them which ones are actually capturing. I've had situations where I'm like, I'm shooting tanks, nothing's getting reset. Oh, I was shooting tanks that came in after the original 3. Right. But, to keep this short and sweet, but I'm going to repeat this again. Patience is going to key. At the one hand, when it comes to making your comment suggestions, be polite, don't be rude, and set your bar high, because we know Wargaming, once they finally do something, it will probably be far below what we want, so that means you gotta really go big to really get what you want. Like they say, if you want to get to the stars, you gotta shoot for the moon. If you just want that C, aim for the A, depending on what kind of grades you got in high school. But 2 things I think we'll all be excited for. 6th Sense now will be standard. It will not be its own individual skill that you have to acquire for your commander. It will already be on the commander. Yay, we've caught up to PC. Enhanced targeting info. That will now be integrated into the tanks already, meaning we will have a 4th equipment slot. I know, this is where we're suddenly kind of concerned about unbalancing tanks. By that I mean sometimes a tank that's already super accurate out of the box can be made damn near laser accurate. Tanks that are obnoxiously fast can be made even faster. Tanks with obscene armor and great and well-protected modules can be made even tougher because of that 4 slot. It's gonna be interesting. Personally, there are many tanks where I'm like, I would like to experiment. Usually you find 2 pieces of equipment that you need. I always run the enhanced targeting. And if it's Era 2 or Era 3, by God, I have now made a TGM detection system that is also now necessary. So having an extra slot can help free up some variety. And when you got the Silver Splend, you can maybe play around with another piece of equipment. Which, again, so many of our complaints are, when it comes to commanders, hey, you just need 3. For depending on how many things you need, you might be like, I just need 3. I need a light tank commander, I need a heavy tank commander, and I need a tank destroyer commander. Some people don't care about TD, some people don't care about, and then again, if you're a true player, you got one for all 5, or 4, the tank types, 3. But I think that's going to be great. And I know a lot of this has to happen. I'm going back. I'm not... To wrap this up, I will leave. There's a lot that this is all one play session for the video. And unfortunately, especially there was, as you saw, there was start off rough. A lot of lopsided matches, which we need to change. A lot of the problems that are mentioned and hopefully being addressed by these, again, year and a half long update plans are actually demonstrated in the gameplay. I remind you, this is going to be a slow and hopefully steady update and improvement. Experimentation and attempted improvement is what it's more likely to be. But as much as I absolutely adore having my piece cells do 80 kilometers per hour, as much fun as it is getting a T-80 up to 78 kilometers, as much as it is absolute joy to go bombing around in a Challenger 1, it would be nice to have the VFM or the M8 AGS do more than just sit and collect dust, because you play them for 3 times in a row and you suddenly realize how utterly outclassed. Weak pen, weak alpha, too slow, no armor, and by God, if you have the Orsario, why would you bother playing your tech tree light tanks that are not ATGM capable? So, it's happening. We're not going to get one big update, but we're going to get several significant smaller updates throughout the year. Comment down below what you think. How hopeful are you? How skeptic are you? And dare we dream that this game is about to find a new lease on life? All I know is I think last Christmas may not have been so jolly for them, because damn, for them to say we need longer tank battles, these things need to be addressed, makes me wonder if some of the there were far more negative comments outside of just being financially predatory. So, but then again, like I also said, I think we've got a lot of developers now that have been promoted and are not sharing the same ideology that the old guard had. It just, always got to remember, when it comes to a game as a service game, they are slow boats, and it takes a lot of time to change course. So, thank you, Wargaming Chicago. Thank you to all my viewers and subscribers. Again, comment your thoughts down below. And let's try to ignore the fact that we're kind of being used as game testers and just try to pretend we're faithful gamers. Well, I hope you keep your tracks on the ground. I earned you in favor. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.